могила. Могила в Анарине. И еще раз, я очень люблю, как свет падает здесь, да, видите? И думаю, что это очень загадочная фотка. Это очень загадочная молитва. Я думаю, что много людей говорят, почему у нас есть религия. У нас есть религия, потому что у нас есть смерть. Да, смерть. И я думаю, что это интересно, что это могила, но у этой могилы есть эти картинки, да? Как люди любят жизнь. Что они делают, когда они живые, да? Есть красивая речка, красивый олень, да? Бабушка сидит здесь, видит красивые горы, да? И может быть у этой могилы есть сообщение нам, да? Что когда, однажды мы умираем, да? Позже мы умираем. Но сегодня нам нужно думать, как мы можем любить жизнь лучше. Мне кажется. Джан.
Джан?
Меня зовут Джан.
Джан.
Да.
Как?
Джан.
Джан?
Да, Джан. Да.
Джан. Очень приятно.
Очень приятно.
А с какого города?
Я из столицы Северной Каролины. Северная Каролина это штат Вашингтон.
Северная Каролина.
Да, между Флоридой и Вашингтоном.
Это, как ты говоришь, город?
Ралли. Ралли, да.
Между
Флоридой,
да.
Флорида, да?
Да,
и
Флорида.
Вашингтоном, между этими
вот,
местами.
Да, в этой Флориде, да, родился этот.
Что?
В Флориде родился.
Нет, я родился в Нью-Джерси, а я вырос в Северной Каролине. Да.
Это откуда это? По-моему, солист и Ян Гиллан, да? Нет?
Нет, это Северная Каролина на восточном берегу.
Ну, это Deep Purple, который группа. Ян Гиллан, который.
Ангел?
Ян Гиллан, да.
Ангел, что
солист группы Deep Purple.
Группа чего?
Deep Purple группа.
Deep Purple?
Да.
Они... Что это Deep Purple? Deep Purple?
Рок-группа.
Это рок-группа?
Да, рок-группа.
Как называется?
Deep Purple.
О, ясно, я понял.
Да, вот Ян Гиллан откуда-то оттуда, по-моему, с Флориды, что ли.
Deep Purple, да?
Да.
Deep Purple. I first came to Kyrgyzstan in 2010. And, one of the reasons why I did come to Kyrgyzstan in 2010 was because I kind of feel like that my roots... У меня было чувство, что вроде бы мои корни притягивали меня сюда. Ты понимаешь, да? So I guess, the interest in my family history and the people of my ancestors, I guess, that interest, I guess, kind of pulled me to Kyrgyzstan. So I came to Kyrgyzstan the first time in 2010, and in 2010, I spent something like 4 or 5 months here because I studied at Autsa. So, when I spent all that time, how much was it? 4 or 5 months or something like that in 2010. I don't know. I feel like I really didn't. I really wasn't. I guess I was kind of insular. You know what I mean? I feel like I didn't really communicate with a lot of different people. I feel like I really didn't go out and discover Kyrgyzstan as much as I could have. But lots of crazy things happen. He's a Turkmen guy from Turkmenistan. And so we became very good friends. We are still friends today.
And I remember that, I mean, it was crazy, like the revolution just happened out of the middle of nowhere. You know, the day before you hear that there's a revolution in Talas, there's a revolution in Narin, you know, they're shooting people, you know, and then the next day you're like, everything's quiet in Bishkek, and you think, well, I guess I might have been wrong about the revolution, you know, spreading to Bishkek. And then, sure enough, you know, I bring some books that I got that got sent to me. You know, I go home, I come back to the university, and then there's all these people in black uniforms, and there's like these Tajik, and I went to the library, and I was sitting there, and then they just kicked out everybody out because they said, you got to get the hell out of here because there's a revolution. Anyway, so I went out, and like there was two Tajiks, and they walked me home, whatever, and then, I mean, they were shooting lots of people, I remember, it was crazy. And then I went after, like, at a certain point in time, I left my apartment and I went to see my friend Ruslan. And then, like, we looked on the other side of his apartment building and they're burning cars, yeah? I have some videos from that. It was crazy, absolute pandemonium, you know, anarchy. So, in Central Asia, I've been all over the place. In Kyrgyzstan, I've been all over the place. One of the reasons why I've been all over the place in Kyrgyzstan is because I went about a year ago to Khorog in Tajikistan, in the Pamirs. And in doing such, I went to Osh, I went to Jalalabad, I went to like the middle of nowhere, southern Kyrgyzstan, basically. You know, so basically in Kyrgyzstan, I've been to every single province except for Batken. And I might go to Batken soon because I have Jamilia Ece, and you know she is my rukovodитель, you know, you know, I'm an English teacher, and she invited me a little while ago to see her family in Batken and over the summer, so I might do that. I might also go with Cher to see Chatakoy, you know. Wow. You know, so yeah, I mean, I went to Almaty. It's yeah, you know, so I really like in Kyrgyzstan and Central Asia. You know, I like a lot of stuff. I mean, I like a lot of stuff. There's also some things I don't like. But I mean, of the things that I do like, I like borscht. It's so good. I love samsa. I love the fresh lapyoshkas that you can get out of the tandir. You know, so I love the food so much. And you know, I really also like Uzbek girls. You know, I wish there was more Uzbek girls in Bishkek. I think they're so pretty. That's a totally different story. But in any ways, I mean, I think there's a lot of stuff about Central Asia. I like the music. You know, I could go on so much talking about like Central Asian music. So, you know, I think there's a lot of great stuff in Central Asia. There's no doubt about that.
Я думаю, что в Америке много людей думают, что Советский Союз хотел разрушить народную культуру киргизов или узбеков или калмыков или, я не знаю, якутских людей, я не знаю. Но они не хотели разрушить культуру местных людей Центральной Азии, Сибири, ну, Белоруссии. Нет, они хотели, с одной стороны, они хотели поддерживать эту культуру. Но у них были, как сказать, у них была особенная идея, как киргизская культура должна быть. Да? Но все равно они не хотели разрушить эту культуру. И видите здесь, что как они отмечают Навруз. Да? Есть здесь Ленин, и они решили, что они хотели украшать Ленина. Да? В Нарине. Потому что моя подруга, она пригласила меня в Нарин. В город Нарина, в столицу Нарина. И там у них были мероприятия. Да? И мы видели эти орелов, да? Орел называется, да? Okay. What else? Что еще? I really just love this picture.
А почему?
Почему? Потому что я люблю, как свет падает, да? На эти солдаты, да? Я думаю, что очень красиво. I think like everything looks golden, золотой даже. Все выглядит золотой, да? Киргизская семья в Маргаде. И у меня чувство, что в Бишкеке мы не можем найти таких настоящих киргизов. Мне кажется. Потому что у каждого киргиза, думаю, есть рабочий стол. Есть компьютер, да? Ну, может быть, пьет компот, да? Но я думаю, что они как русские в основном, кажется мне. Но, конечно, они не русские. Но, может быть, у них есть менталитет русских людей, чуть-чуть, думаю. Но здесь видите, что каждый человек сидит на полу, да? Они кушают на коврике, да? Я думаю, что это очень культурный коврик, очень традиционный коврик.
So I study Pamiris. I mean, I'm in the Department of Central Asian Studies, and in this field, my concentration is on Pamiri identity. So the Pamirs is a really incredible region, I think. I mean, if you look at the Pamirs, you can find it's like a treasure trove of different languages. It's like there's so many treasures, so many mysteries. So much diversity of the region. I mean, for example, I don't know. I think that part of my interest in the Pamirs, I know that the languages are very interesting. I mean, for example, you have so many languages that are so different from each other in such a small amount of space. But one of the other things that I guess kind of pulled me to the region is my interest in Ismailism, because when I was getting my bachelor's degree in religious studies, I always found the Ismaili people to be the, может быть, самая загадочная секта ислама, по-моему. It's a very interesting sect of Islam. So they're often prone to metaphorical interpretations of the Quran. Like for example, like a Sunni might read the Quran, and he'll say, well, the rain falls from the sky into a valley, but an Ismaili will look at that and they'll say, what this verse really means in the Quran is it means that the Quran descended into the heart of Muhammad. So it's interesting for me because it's esoteric. It's very zagodishny. It's very enigmatic. So I mean, there's very many reasons why I'm so interested in the Pamirs. So it makes me feel very happy that being in grad school, that I get to write detailed explanations and analyses and summaries of the people of the Pamirs. So I think that my attraction to Pamiri identity, it's a very interesting topic. My thesis is about Pamiri identity, and it's a very interesting thing for me because you have Pamiris who speak Wahi, you have Pamiris who speak Shugni, you have Pamiris who speak Ishkashimi, and you have Pamiris who speak Tajik. But they're all Ismailis basically, right? At least on the Tajik side. And what's interesting is that all these people, most of the people who I talk to who are Pamiris say, it doesn't matter that I'm Shugni or Wahi or Rushani or whatever. What matters is that we're Pamiris. They think Pamiri is an ethnicity. And it's interesting that they think it's an ethnicity, despite the fact that you have all these languages that are so radically different from one another. So it's a very interesting topic for me. One of the most interesting topics I think that I could have chosen. So one of the things that I like the most about Kyrgyzstan is the beautiful nature. Like for example, in my state, North Carolina, we do have mountains, but they're very far away from where I live, in the capital, Raleigh. And in any case, they're nothing compared to the mountains that we have in Kyrgyzstan. Once every 2 days, or once every 3 days, or once every day, it depends. I go up into the mountains, right near Autsa, the university that I go to, there's these foothills of the Alatu range of the Tian Shan Mountains. And so I like climbing up, and it feels like I really push myself to the limit. And because I push myself to the limit, I feel so good. I feel so healthy. I feel like I do it because I kind of like thinking. I think about life when I go up there. I pass by these Kyrgyz graves. I look at these Kyrgyz graves and they seem so zagodishny to me, so enigmatic to me. And I just kind of think to myself, what is life about? Life is about becoming something greater than you are today. And sometimes I just hike and hike and hike, and I hike so far even sometimes, that I reach an entirely different city, so it kind of looks strange because there's a place there's basically, it's the middle of nowhere. I like to call it the glubinka. It really is a glubinka. And so, in English, glubinka is the boondocks. It's absolutely the boondocks. Nothing but beautiful nature, and you're just at a certain point in the middle of nowhere where you like look to your right and you see Bishkek, and you look to your left and you see this other village over there called like Strelkin or something like that. So I mean, I really like it because it feels good. It helps me build my stamina. So it's a place that I genuinely really really like. So, going back, sometimes like if I go to Strelkin, for example, sometimes I have to take a marshrutka. Oh. So I don't know when I'm gonna go back to the U.S. at all. I have no idea at all. Sometimes I think I might stay some time here because I've been thinking maybe I want to get involved in business. That's one of the things I've been thinking about. Because I'm thinking, do I have a plane ticket back to America? I do not have a plane ticket back to America. Maybe with some lobbying group or some political group. But I kind of... Иногда я думаю, что я хочу быть предпринимателем. Я хочу быть businessman, да? I sometimes think I want to be a businessman. I think become a capitalist. You know what I mean? Because I think to myself, I think that if other people can do that, why can I not do that? Because if it's just a matter of effort, then I can do that too. So I don't know when I'm going to go back to the U.S., but what I do know is that my primary goal is to become someone of greater importance, to, work harder, to get a career, to have a name for myself. So I don't know. I guess that's kind of like what I'm interested in right now.